Hey guys, it's Casual Friday, and that means it's Nancy Matz Friday, and we're going to be talking about past lives and how things from your past life can influence your current life. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey everybody, welcome to Friday. Another Friday. Casual Friday at California Haunts Radio. And of course that means a lovely Nancy Matz is going to be on with us in a few minutes to talk about past lives and how stuff from your past lives can affect your current life. Pretty cool stuff. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour, and I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of what is now sunny Sacramento, California. We're sitting here, nice 65 degrees or 69 degrees or whatever it is today. Got you riding my friend's new convertible, cruising around. It was fun today. But anyway, I want to welcome you all here, and we're gonna have a great night. Last night we talked about Edgar Allan Poe. The night before we talked about some dark stuff. But tonight we're going to talk about stuff. Just stuff, psychic stuff, and just our usual Friday fare. But I'm glad to have you all here. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, again. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means we can help you. It may take us a little bit because California is a huge state. So it's not what people think. It's wide open plains, just like you would think out of the movies, but wide open plains. So it may take us a while to get to you, but we will get to you. And if we can't get to you right away, we have mediums on staff who can call you and help you with whatever's going on until we can get out there. That being said, let's talk about the Patreon a little bit. I'm going to be adding some outtakes out there, because there's some funny things that go on. Like I dropped like the mic that dropped about a couple weeks ago, and plus I was just thinking about this. I've been thinking about it all day, and when I went to shoot the intro for the show, it was kind of funny because I shot it in the first take. It looked like some wire went up my wazoo. I mean, I just jumped up and was like, "Wow, here we are!" Right. So I want to take stuff like that and put together like a blooper reel and have that over at the Patreon, because there are some funny things that actually go on, before the show and after the show and things like that. Like that night, the other night, I think that was a drop mic night. I didn't realize that I left the stupid thing on, and I thought I had shut down StreamYard, and it went on for about 10 minutes, and it was just a black screen. So it's stuff like that, and there's funny things that go on as well, So I'm looking at that, and so hopefully I can put that together and have that over at the Patreon. I've got 2 more videos coming out the Patreon. One is going to be about King Arthur and the Round Table. The other one is going to be with Gina Rock Tinkerbell. I'm going to be putting those together this evening and tomorrow. And the people that are members of the Patreon get to see them starting Sunday. And you have a week to watch them, and then I'm going to put them out on the regular show list out here. Okay, so you go check those out at the Patreon. $5 at $5.50 for a month registration over there, but you get to see the videos ahead of everybody else. Plus, you're going to start seeing outtakes and bloopers over there, so it's kind of fun, right? Outtakes and bloopers. And again, once I build that Patreon up, we're going to have guests come on and be like a one-on-one with certain guests, and you can ask questions that you kind of either were afraid to ask or didn't get a chance to ask during the main show. And I'm going to start scheduling those in. I got a lot of enthusiastic people that want to do that, so I'm real excited about it. Okay, that being said, if you are watching from Facebook and you haven't done so already, and of course, and you like what you see, no pressure, and you like what you see, feel free to follow, because I'm always looking for followers, and we're trying to build this thing up. And also, if you like what you see on Facebook, please be sure to hit that like button or that heart button or the smiley button or whatever crazy smiley faces there are out there, emojis, because that helps us move through the system. I'm going to say system. It's kind of evading me right now. If you're watching from YouTube and you haven't done so already and you like what you see, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. You can find that by looking for the ghost. I'm doing this again today, huh? I'm so good at this for a while. There we go. Let me get my hand up. So everything's in a different spot now. That ghost, he's down there at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and you press on him, and the little subscribe button will pop up. 580 videos sitting over there, and they're all different topics. I mean, a good example of different topics is this week. If you look at the schedule from this week that I put out, as far as the shows go, I mean, we had different things every night, and I love it when it's different like that. I love different topics. Love it, love it, love it. So it's great. All right. No forcing. It's all good. But again, we're looking to stay up in those algorithms. That's the word I was looking for. Algorithms. We're looking to stay up in those algorithms. So if you're watching from YouTube and you want to send us a happy face or a heart or something from over there, please be sure to do that. Thumbs up, right? Because we're always looking for that stuff. Okay, I'm out of breath now. That being said, let me bring in Nancy and we'll launch this puppy.
Launches, now I'm a puppy. Wow,
I'll
look
go
how
to
bright
sleep
that
now. I'm
is.
tired. That's it.
Huh?
I said my bit. I'm going to sleep now.
Please, not on my show. I, I changed, reversed the color behind me, and I'm almost wondering if it's too contrasty now, or do I not have enough light on? I think most people don't care, but I sit here going, I can't see. This is a fun topic tonight. People are getting more interested in past life regressions. I got two people floating around there saving up the money so I get the past life regression with me. And I think I would enjoy doing that. So if you're already interested, touch base with me. Um, so we did a couple past life shows, but tonight over the last few weeks, I've had other people bring up during sessions ideas and things and talking to spirit people. Where are they? Oh, they're doing a life. And I go, what? What? And so there's some topics here that have been brought up that I need to address. And they're kind of fun, makes you kind of look, think it through. And I do not get interested in past life regressions or any of this until, oh my gosh, I got into this in 90, but my mother joined the Everett Casey group in Madison and Fair Oaks Boulevard. I think that's Sacramento, I'm not sure. And she had me get involved, and that's the first time I had a past life regression. And most of you know that I'm comfortable as a runner. So I had a past life regression as a youth of a man in Roman times or close to Rome. I don't know where this was. And he made wagon wheels. And I thought his job was terrible because all we did was work there at the house all the time. There was no interest. So, of course, as soon as I could, I joined the Roman army. And so one of the things I wanted to do, because Dad had given us those wheels that didn't quite make the cut, and we'd use a stick. You've seen this turn of the century, kids having a wheel, they'd run, let it roll, then they'd hit it with a stick, and it would roll, roll, roll. And I remember I remember running and enjoying it with I had a couple other friends, and we were all three boys, how much we enjoyed running with this wheel. And that's virtually all the toys we had. Kids didn't have anything in those years, virtually. And so I joined the army, and I was probably late teens, early 20s, as soon as you can get in. And I was a runner for the encampments. So right at dusk, you get the notes for what you wanted your campaign peoples to do. And instead of horses, they would find somebody who could run. And I did this for a while. And then one unfortunate evening, I remember looking down. Oh, how can I do that? I just remembered again. Have you ever seen the fields of volcanic rock? And they could be multiple sizes. And I remember thinking how black they were. And I tripped and broke my knee. And of course, then I was hobbled and I was sent home. And I ended up taking over my father's business, helping him run his business, making wheels. And I must have been only in my early 20s. And I remember how unhappy I was because I loved running. Well, this lifetime, I've done a lot of running, outdoors continually, camping continually, and as much as possible. And the Roman leagues had a big battle going on, and they were passing through the area. And I was better, but not 100%. And they came through, and I said, "Can I join up again?" "Oh, of course, you'll do that in the morning." Well, I didn't know they burned down towns as they went home. And they destroyed the whole town, including us. And that was the end of that life. and history books tell the story, So um, it's odd that I felt I made it all up. I
Hmm.
felt insecure with it. Like, why would I be the son of a wheel maker? And why would I join the armies to run between encampments? Started, it took me years to go. And then when I got into this, May of 1990, I was seeing spirit people. I was doing readings every Friday night, Spirit of Grace, Universal Christ of the Master, Citrus Heights, California. And it was probably 2 or 3 months in that I got past life. And I just really struggled. I didn't want to go to a place that the Christian churches, you know, didn't believe in. But once you get exposed to that we survive and we do walk around and we have conversations with people and we have a completely life in what we call across the veil. But we can do lives over and over. I mean, have choice, choice, choice.
My
And then,
question for you is, now you're older. Have you had trouble with your knee at all?
yes, I was always a runner. Got
Right.
into horses, and I had a really tall horse. She was Appy Quarter, and I did a lot of rides. And my right knee, my left knee had to get rebuilt, and
Okay.
that's when they put the left foot into the left side of the horse to go over it. And she was so
Right.
tall that when I did riding ties, I would be the runner. My partner was a runner. We catch up and then take off. I've always had, fortunately, trouble with my knees, but it's not like I made it up. They'd have to get worked
No,
on.
but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that I know I mean, even way back when I was a little kid,
Mhm.
I must have been 12, maybe 12, 13, PBS, right? Had
Mhm.
this thing on about past lives. Very seldom would you see that stuff on PBS back then. It wasn't like it is now.
They're not,
I,
yeah, they
I
have to be very
remember.
careful.
Oh yeah, I remember it enough to remember that that said there was somebody that was doing a study on past lives and people's injuries that they had in this life.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
scars and things like that that they said were possibly from their past lives. And that's why I'm going
Absolutely.
to ask you about your knee. Yeah.
I was involved with the Evolving Times Expos, and I apologize for not remembering the lady who was in complete shortage, and she wanted to help me, and she promoted my working at Madison Avenue I-80 Theater in the Round, and one of the shows that she wanted me to do was past lives, and I did a whole segment within that 2 hours of people's wounds, and I've mentioned this before. When
Hmm.
someone would raise their hand and stand up, I would describe an injury in this lifetime without them telling me, and then I would tell them how it happened. And it was absolutely like they would look at me like I was had two heads or something. And I says, I just do what I do. I see a wound going across into your gut, across your chest, a loss of arm, and that's the area that they would have the most trouble with. Now, how would I see it? Um, we carry our wounds by energy, and people who have wounds, I can see it already. I can see it before it happens because it's light color to me. It's warning us to be careful. I can see it afterward, even body parts, which remember I'm not supposed to diagnose, right? I would see it differently, but strongly from past life that is interfering with this one. And I mentioned this before, I'll do it real quick because it's hard to remember all that.
Sure.
But ones that I do remember, this man in the top theater around where you stand low and then you have 150 seats and they go up a column where it's like music circus, but the audience is elevated. And and he stood up. He says, I've had trouble with my stomach all my life. And I says, oh my gosh. And it overtook me. And my whole body became the man of the malicious act. And I had
Hmm.
this sword and I reached back and I just shoved it into him. And he went back like this as though he felt it again. And I says, you were murdered by a large sword. He says, oh my God, I felt you go right through me. Mm.
Pamela
Can't,
is asking, how do you know if you have had a past life, and how do you know if what you're experiencing in this life is part of that life?
guess what I'm going to be covering tonight? I guess a part of me wants to say this is really hard for me. this was really hard for me.
I heard voices. It's the cat. Um, See, I always wonder because I got regressed, and I
Yeah.
always wonder if further beyond that life, because obviously we have multiple, past lives, and I always wonder because of my back problems that I have at some point,
Oh.
did I not get thrown off a horse, or did I not get into a fight or something and then fall off the side of a cliff or something to
Oh.
hurt my back?
Oh my gosh. My next lifetime, they're going to have so many choices. Butters was a tall horse, and Linda and Rhonda and I were going from Horseshoe Bar, Douglas, to
Right.
Auburn Trails. And she got spooked by a rattlesnake, and we went over the cliff. And I went down, and I thought to myself at the moment we were headed down. It wasn't straight down, it was a really sharp angle, though, headed
Sure.
toward the river. I remember thinking, I don't know if I can get out of this one. And then that's when she hit a rock, and I was stunned, like I didn't get down the. It was one of those God doesn't want me moments, and
You know
okay, I'm
what's
gonna have to
funny
figure
though
it
is
out.
when you have those moments.
Yeah,
It's funny because like when I got into my bad car accident,
yeah,
you're really calm. You think of funny thoughts.
right.
And I remember looking, and then I had braced myself and braced my
Yeah,
legs, and I thought I was going to go over it because this is where where you're going in the Tahoe when it's real steep,
uh-huh,
and I
yes,
didn't know there was a barricade there underneath the snowbank. And the first thought I had was, it's going to be a hell of a view, and I was real calm, and I was
if I start writing down and listing all the, we're going to do a show, everybody. It's going to be called the red brick from God.
yes, that's
And I've
coming.
had
Yes,
too many, and I think they're just trying to prove to me that I'm not supposed to go yet. It's like
at some point, yeah. I think
I have wonderful stories.
I
Huh?
have that belief, that humans have like three or four outs. There's three or four outs for us, and we can change
Yeah.
those outs. But my others, like you say, the red brick from God and stuff. But I also think that we're like cats. Those three or four outs for us are like cats. Cats have 9 lives, right? So we have the three or four outs.
Yeah. Well, it's very possible. We will talk about that, but I would like to get
Yes. Okay.
so a few weeks back, I this started coming into we need to talk about this. This is a topic, and I was just going to write notes, and tonight we had a chance to do it sooner. And I had a lady talk to me, circumstances of why she went homeless for a while. I've been someone she talks to since 2000. She lived in Oregon, had a couple of dollars. She has daughters. They
Hmm.
moved into an old house that had black mold, and she got terribly sick. And to make a long story short, she was dying at one point. And I can't remember all the circumstances, but she didn't.
Right.
And her kids grew up and they moved out. They went to college. All three of them have something going through their system. They're not sure that it's black mold anymore. They have viruses and things going on. Who knows? But at the current time, and for a while now, she's been living with a sister. And there's no way you guys are going to find her. I'm not going to mention names. It's just like she's a quiet person. She's taking care of a sister, unfortunately, with dementia. Well, mom has it too, and they're both two different
Oh,
houses, living on property that's divided. It was not at one time, and she's taking care of not only her sister but her mother. And her sister's kids are going to come and evaluate. They need to move her. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. And uh, to make a long story short, there's problems with her son. There's problems with the other sister. The mother and sister, thinking that this woman was going to die, took all their stock, their wealthy family. They took everything from her because she was dying. They forged her name. So she'd been through the court system. Now she's taking care of that mother who took all her money. And now the sister is trying to get into the house to make sure that my friend taking care of her doesn't be there when the mother dies. And I had a heck of a time sorting through this because this woman, when she talked about when the mother took the son away from her because of this illness,
hmm.
the son was young. Okay, anybody knows how to stop pop-ups? I want to listen. I can't stand this. But anyway, so she made comments about the son that were so derogatory that I went, oh, I says, you want answers. Don't tell me those adjectives. Don't tell me how awful it is with these people all around you. I want to answer question so I can give you an answer because I don't need the story. I just want
Right.
to know what you want to know. And I did the best I could. She could only afford a very short time. I hung up and I kind of let you just sit here. You go, oh, fudge. Where's my drink? Where's my coffee or my soda or something? And then I saw the people lined up like in an arc. And all of a sudden I saw a spider web crisscrossing over them. It was kind of like, you know, so this happened once before. I was going through the Mojave Desert, a lot of big cactus, and there was a landscape of a lot of cactus with the hills behind it. And as I
Right.
drove by, I had this switch on. I don't know what caused it. All of a sudden, I saw filaments of life and energy go between cactuses. And the feeling I got was family. They were communicating. I went, how we can prove that, right?
Right.
Well, we communicate with family even if we're not talking. We communicate and are connected to those we have to fix from lifetimes before. This whole family is so wired with the issues of past lives. I've never seen such, excuse me, a mess. A mess. And it's like I didn't even know how to, I could only tell them what I was picking up and what would happen. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
go to a place of saying, if you don't fix it this time, girlfriend, guess what you get to do next time? So this lifetime, she's helped fixing the issue with the sister that's going to pass away soon and
Mm-hmm.
with the mother who will pass in a year and a half. She is there. And they're doing the best they can because mom did do her wrong as well as the sister who's not ill. There's two sisters. And I think to myself, how is she going to work it out if the other sister pushes her off the property? You don't belong here. You know, the will says, I'm getting the house, not you, because you were going to die, so we changed every. I don't know those things. But I looked at this and I went, holy moly. You know, I don't even know if I should talk to her that way and say, this is
Right.
what's going on. Because the dynamics of her being unhappy is so big, she would say, I don't have time for that. I just want this life to be reasonable. If I'm not going to be dead in a year or two from this, I want some, you know, she wants some satisfaction. And I can't go there. But it was amazing that I saw this bridging uh, between all of them because I was really trying to figure out why is that family, let's think of a nicer word than what I just thought of, messed up. Well, why is it just awful? It was just amazing to me. So this is a perfect example if everybody want to get rid of that past life poo-poo at one time. And if they don't, guess what? So those of you who have been divorced and it was a terrible experience, are you still having bad feelings for those people? How about family relationships that just sink and die around you? And you, I mean, where do we go with this, right? So at one point, I got to a place I do believe this is going to be really hard for some people to want to do that we have access to time mentally, and that you can go back in time and visualize a bad moment between you and somebody else. And even though they don't know what you're doing, you can forgive them. When you do that, in that moment, you go back and oh, you can't do that, Nancy. You just don't want to talk about. Well, I do it all the time. Thank you very much. How do you think I can redo these readings and back up in time to an actual living moment? If I can do it, you can do it. If you go back to an actual living moment through memory, yes, we do have memories in our mind, but I think they're triggers to access time. Quantum physics, everybody. Let's own it. Let's own it. Our brains are too magnificent. How do we calculate an entire time in our life in that puddle of jello? Those are
Mm-hmm.
access points. You can go back in an actual living moment, envision yourself. I just went back to it before my father was killed. He had one of those coupes with the seat and the two in the front, and then there was this empty spot for luggage. I just
Mm-hmm.
went back and enjoyed a couple seconds of being in there, remembering what he looked like. I've lost my memory. He got killed when I was 6. So in that car, unfortunately. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like we can go back and enjoy a memory, a pleasurable, fun memory. You can also go back to one of your harshest, most difficult moments and how you survive that isn't as important as you would forgive that person for creating it. When you do, at that moment, the energy of that individual's changed. Well, how would I know? And what difference does it make? What difference does it make? Because this is where it's kind of strange. You go back and hold on to that second. You go back and you really forgive them for being stupid, irresponsible, not a good person. They get it in that moment. And then past history to present history is changed. And you don't even know it. All of a
Mhm.
sudden they're nicer to you, or the dynamics of the family is better. And maybe you remember always being that way, where half hour ago you were still hating the person to Dickens. Go
Right.
back and you forgive. That domino then is set up. I mean, how crazy is that? I do believe that. Because if
It
I
kind
can do
of
it, you
reminds
can
me.
do it.
It kind of reminds me of like that movie Somewhere in Time when he goes back.
Yes, that's
That's
right.
he, yeah.
We have access to time. I can talk. You guys only put me down for an hour.
You know what's funny
I
too is
could,
memories. Memories are a funny thing because you could have a nasty relationship with somebody or fight
mm-hmm.
with somebody all the time, and then after they're gone, maybe not even right away, but 15, 20 years down the line, when you remember back on stuff, it's not as bad as it was.
Oh,
You think more pleasantly of them, and that changes your
right.
outlook too. Just like what Nancy's
Absolutely.
saying right now, that changes your outlook too about them. Well, gee, I might have been mad, but that was kind of funny in a way because the way it went down. So that's another way to kind of like do that. It's not like you're making a physical change or anything. You're making a mental
An
change,
emotional
emotional mental
change
change,
on the relationship that makes you emotionally healthier.
right?
So don't repeat these patterns in the relationships you have from that point on,
Right,
but you don't carry it over. I
right.
unfortunately just kind of go with this. When people are dying, they will talk about those things of which they wish they'd fix, or the things that hurt them the most. We need to do that before we get to that point because that's the stuff we carried over. And that's the stuff where you have to meet up with that person and go, well, what do you think? Did we kind of mess that out? You want to do it again? Well, excuse me, I don't know my lifetime here that there's people I want to meet up with the next time, but I'll be nicer. I have to forgive now. And that
Hey,
was an amazing, amazing. Go ahead.
hey Judith, that would be something that would be a past life issue. She says, growing up, I had nightmares about a significant period of history within the
Uh huh.
last 100 years um, in the Western world. Movies that depict those events and era are extremely difficult for me to watch. Sometimes the feelings from the images are so strong that I feel that I lived it. What do you think? Just vivid
That's
nightmares?
exactly one of the things I've let me love that. Thank you. We want some input because that triggers more conversation, even though I now it's only 5 to 7. One thing is, so I talked about the family dynamics and the forgiving because that's that family whole thing. I mean, it was just
Mhm.
amazing to me. And I don't have those situations too often. Thank goodness. Ever found yourself comfortable in an area when you haven't lived there before? Oh, yes. Yes. So I share a story here. I live near Yuba City, and at one point I'm north of Yuba City. At one point I lived south in in Roseville, and I would go through Yuba City to visit a friend who lived in Chico. And I had passed over a bridge, and when I got to that bridge, I could see the water lines of a great flood at one time. It riveted me. Well, I knew that my mother lived nearby when she was in high school. She was born in Tacoma, Washington, and they moved down to Yuba City. And whether they experienced that or not, when I looked up where they lived, it was on the levee. So they were involved in the flood. The other thing is I'm not saying I'm this person. My grandmother, her mother, have older brothers. And it's great. We have great stories. They have Indians in our family, but the older brothers were found to be, sorry, horse thieves. And they have mugshots of them, these two Indians standing there, and one of them stayed with Blanche, and he ended up dying in that area, is buried in that area. And I find myself really connected to Yuba City and it's one of those really hard working men areas. It's not like it's exciting to go shopping, and now it's building up. But one time it was just a pass through town. Commerce was there, planting of crops, the railroad. I would call that the blue collar corner of Northern California at one time. But I felt like I lived there. In my first book, Two Worlds, when I first started out, my mother was very against me getting into this. She would rather I continue with my career at a telephone company. I worked there for 24 years when I stopped to do this full time. And I'd had cancer, and no one in the family wanted me to leave this sanctuary of the security. So when I told her that I was leaving, she was very, very, very disappointed. And I found myself in Spirit of Grace one night. I drew a picture, and I was just in a trance, and I drew a picture of a young girl, and she had ponytails. And I wrote very quickly for my mother to prove that this is real. And when I showed it to my mother, she started crying. She says, "Oh my God, that's Helen." I says, "Who's Helen?" She says, "Well, when I lived in Yuba City, she was my best friend when I moved there in high school." And I went, "And how? And you sure she looks? This is Helen?" "Oh yes." And she wanted to know how I got the picture and how I knew. And I says, "I didn't, Mom. I just drew it for you." And boom, I got her. And that's in my book, and her signature's on there as well as the note. I can't make this up, you guys. It's kind of nuts. I don't know if she passed away, but was I Helen? Don't know. So that is a true thing. So the little lady that wrote the note, we do feel that.
Hmm.
And people ask me, well, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Well, I have a memory of being a young girl on some very large cliffs looking into the ocean for my father's ship to come home. So I always called it the cliffs of Dover. And I have a skirt to my knee with big boots coming up. So 1900s, turn of the century. And I do believe that I would like to go there. Why not? I have a real big pull to Japan. I even bought How to Learn a Foreign Language, Japanese. Why? In my life, this lifetime, I'm not getting there, but I'm fascinated. I don't watch movies from there. It's just a ringing in my ear all the time. Um, so,
Do you feel, real quick, do you feel the connection with this? Because I have this vision. I mean, kind of obviously I went to Hawaii like I did and fell in love, but
oh yeah,
I have this vision of getting off work. I can see myself getting off work and going down to the beach and just sitting like in the sand with the waves lapping up
oh I love that.
my legs. And it's a passing vision. It's not something I have all the time. I mean, is
Yeah,
that what this is like? I mean, these passing visions. That's going back to maybe a time when you did
I
this.
think they're more memorable moments. So your peacefulness of sitting and relaxing, and were you a man? Do you remember seeing your legs as a man?
I was a woman, but I was
Were
sitting
you?
just in the water, not deep enough for sharks, but
Yeah,
just deep
I can
enough to
see your
just sit
legs
there.
looking there, but I
Yeah,
can't tell if you're a woman
with
or a
that
man.
warm water coming up every day. You're sitting at the beach after work every day.
Yeah, right. Peaceful moments or traumatic moments.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've done this for so long, I do get and continually getting moments of terror or peacefulness. I
Mm-hmm.
had a moment one day and I was just relaxing. I tell you, sometimes I would go, maybe I shouldn't continue in this because I'm getting really bizarre. Who's going to believe me and who am I going to share this with? So I'm a young person. I'm dark in color and I'm sitting in what I call a field of golden things going up. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably in either a crop or it's really tall,
Little House on the
reeds.
Prairie, very good. Yeah,
I could be a child. No, but where I'm going to tell you what's happened to me.
right. I was
I'm
teasing you.
young. I'm sitting low, and I look up, and a tiger is going to jump on me.
Africa. Okay,
Africa. So
that works.
I can look up. I can't tell that I have much clothing on, but I'm two, three,
Mm-hmm.
4 years old. Mother's probably perched me there to kind of make the tiger go away, and it found me. I look up and I can just see this coming down. So
Wow.
that moment lasted 2 seconds. Why would I capture that and keep it with me?
Right.
Well, I'm always getting torn up with these cats. I got more wounds on me than normal.
There you
So
have it.
I don't understand, why did I have to remember that? What does that have to do with what does I say about my mother just happened to come in right moment? I don't think so. I think I was lunch. Okay. The next thing I want to bring up is there's a show called Coast to Coast AM, and I enjoy listening, download it to a listening device. And there had been for a while a lady of African descent coming on the show, and she was very, very learned of Cleopatra, and
Yes.
she claimed to be a reincarnation of Cleopatra. The woman,
Hmm.
I give her a lot of credit for the research and the passion. But how many people have you heard say, I was also Cleopatra? Or Thomas Jefferson? When I was at the Universal Christ of Master Friday nights, I'd give readings to everybody. And Ken and Ollie Keck were the ministers. Um, and there was a gentleman there. Uh, you ever met somebody who seemed to be very knowledgeable in everything?
Yeah.
Those kind of people. And it wasn't I disliked him. It just like I got tired of always him saying that he knew this and knew that. And it's just, and I was giving him a question, I was answering him. And all of a sudden, and why would I make anything up? Because I was absolutely astonished. I saw the figure of Thomas Edison over overlay. Well, I love to read. I know what Thomas Jefferson looked like. And I must have been cross-eyed. I looked and I went, who is that? And I heard Thomas Jefferson. And I went, nah. I'm not gonna give him that. So after the class was over, I realized I was holding on to information, and
Hmm.
my mind would never let that go. So I turned to Ken and Ollie, the pastors, and I says, I need to share something with you. In that group tonight, reading this one person, an overlay of Thomas Edison was shown to me of who this, and they go, oh, and I says, do we owe that to him? If you think so, I think you should say that, but say it in private because we wouldn't want the audience to think that he was favored and that I didn't get it for anybody else. I got it for him for some need or interest on his part. But I didn't think it was my place to do that in such a large form.
Hmm.
But I did tell them, did they say something to him? I think they did. Um, it's been 25, 30 years since that. This May 4th will be 33 years, so it's been 30 years ago. But I thought to myself, wow, do you know how many people have said that Thomas Edison, yet I saw Thomas Edison or this man? And
Hmm.
it's not like I even asked. In fact, I was dumbfounded and didn't want to tell. I was so like, oh my God. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to talk about is overlapping of lived lives. So when I do a past life regression for somebody, and this has happened before, where I'm an orderly person, I'm an artist, I like details like this behind me, I look at details, details. I like engineering, I have an engineering background. It's not very funny, buddy. Manholes and conduit and telephone lines. I mean, come on. I come from that era, right? Everything's done on a computer now, but it was very important for precision. So when I do a past life regression and I see a life and you died in Titanic, yet I see you at the turn of the century, I go, something's wrong here. One of them is wrong. No, it's
Hmm.
not. Um, what happens is this is a show I'm going to do all separate. I have a client. She's allowed me to talk about her. There was a death in the family. This brother, he died, and he's been gone now for 7 years. And very early, she wanted to talk to him all the time, and he was very, very giving of his time as a spirit person. Well, one time he didn't show up, and she was just, And I said, "Where are you?" I said, almost said his name, and I don't know if I should yet. And he says, "I'm in the Mediterranean. Um, Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean," and he showed me this ship. And I've told this before, so I'll make it quick. Anyway, I heard he showed me the ship, and it was the size of the Nina Pina and the Santa Maria, and the outside of the ship was black, black. And I had to check with my husband. I said, "What is this?" And he watches all kinds of shows like that. He says, "Well, pirate ships in those years, which they don't demonstrate on TV in the movies, they would coat the outsides of their ships with tar to make them sail faster.
Mm.
They were the aggressive pirate ships, so they had to go faster than the ship they were pursuing." And I didn't know that. So that was validated. But anyway, so my client said, "Oh, yeah, Nancy, you're wrong." And I go, "Well, I can only be honest and tell you what I'm picking up." So when the session was over, she called her brother's son, who was living with the man when he passed away. And he says, "Well, Auntie, in the basement, Dad just loved Johnny Depp, and all the posters from all the movies are on the walls, and he was doing a ship, building a ship. He just loved all those movies." And my client had no idea. I didn't either. Of all things for me to come up with, Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean. So we talked to him again later on. He was still on that ship. And he said to me, "I don't like this life." Okay, what does that mean? Hello? And I thought for a moment, he doesn't like the life of pirating. It's a disappointment to him rather. So when we were done, I said, "Oh, oh." He went back and he's having a life there on that ship. He was
Mhm.
born into a body that was part of the world of pirating. And now he's on a ship thinking it's glamorous, but his spirit is talking to me and saying, "Nah, this is not fun. I don't like this. This was a bad choice." Does that
Mhm.
burst the bubble of Johnny Depp? Probably. I really enjoyed those movies. I'll never forget that one scene where they're being chased through the forest. He's being chased by the wheel.
Yeah.
Ah, I tell you, it was the best scene. And get off track, stay on track. Since that, and it's 7 years ago, I have really listened to people who talk about past lives. And then I started noticing some of the lives I've been shown. And
Mhm.
it's very possible they're overlapping. I was listening to a lady who does um, past life regression work. She's not me. And I think we get limited. No criticism to anybody out there, please. I'm not. We get limited by how and what we can get.
Mhm.
So spirit people say to me that they can immediately come back within a day or hours of unpleasant, unfortunate death. Absolutely, they can. But a lot of them in that life, in that spirit world, time is not measured. And 25 years can go like they have a window. Oh, I like this. Because I have found something curious. They don't necessarily want to go forward so far that they lose the interest they had in a past life. Duh. Okay, that's kind of interesting. If I pass tomorrow, why wouldn't I want to go 300 years in the future
Mhm.
just to see what it is? I may be connected emotionally to how we are living now, and I want a life of this. So I said that, and I saw myself as a young military man going off to college in a neighborhood very similar to what we have now. I live in a
Mhm.
house that's 45 years old. It's the same. So in the future, houses being built now, 45, 50 years from now, they could be like this or more. So I want to be part of the space program. I've thought about it. I love it. I'm technical. I'm nerdy. So to me, I would want to be on the front beginning or as you get into space, the conquest. Why would I want to go 300 years when I want to do that? We don't realize we're emotionally connected to the lives we have now, and we sometimes pick closer versus further away. Now, she is very respectable, and I can't hold that. But spirit people talk to me, they show me. And so I was given a reading to a young 17-year-old. And uh, I don't have story when I get started. She's 17. And I was shown a woman. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm being shown this woman." And unbeknownst to me, she told me, I described Coco Chanel. And she says, "Do you know anything about the fashion industry?" I went, "Listen, no. I live in the country. We were runners. We had horses. I mean, it's like, no." I, I wear comfortable clothes. For a few years, I did dress up, dancing and having fun, but no, I don't buy anything. And all you women, I don't shop where I can't afford it. I'll be honest. Maybe sometime in the future, next life. So I described this woman and I said things about her that made impression. That's when her mother got on the phone and said she wants to pursue fashion design. And I went, oh, 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 as to validate what this is about. And I said, well, they kind of share with me that about 25 years. So the mother turned around and I could hear this. The girl was born 25 years after the death of Coco Chanel. I thought, and they've been telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that curious. Now, the life that Shar was shown of what was important of conquest, success as a rancher has a lot to do with who she is in this lifetime, but she could have been a flapper. She could have been a horse drawn milk delivery truck at 1901.
Yeah.
But the lives weren't as impactful as the cost of being the daughter of people she would have to take care of and sacrificing her life. So now she's got this quest, as in the life that I did a past life regression for her. So we pick a life that we would like to develop or work. Clearly, I picked this body for the 33 years of doing this, not for the 24 that I have a Pacific Bell, clearly. And so I'd be terribly interested. So one day I asked, why do I do this? And I got an answer I wasn't expecting. I was a nun initiated, and I'm on my knees and I'm scrubbing the floors. And in my mind, I'm very unhappy. And in my mind, I'm saying, I want to help the people in the city. I want to help the poor and the needy. I think she died. I mean, I'm not seeing anything other than a smock of brown. And the floor is not tile, but stone. And she's got a brush and she's just doing this. I'm going, of course I would have a life scrubbing floors. But I must have died soon. And so I pick a life where I'm in service because that's what she wanted to do. It wasn't anything glamorous at all, but she wanted so badly to help. So I got my answer. It's not nearly as exciting as what Cher had of this big time rancher with a family, cattle and horses. Not at all. But he didn't get what he wanted, and she is in this lifetime. So I'm addressing the idea that we can have overlapping lived lives because we have a stream of life. When you pass over, you can enter another stream and say, how can I possibly, as a human being, with the limited knowledge that I have, say, why can't we have 10 Cleopatras? That physicalness of Cleopatra and that personality of Cleopatra is fixed in time. You could be the soul going in and saying, Cleopatra, do your thing. I want to enjoy this. And you pass over, become Cleopatra, and you say, well, I was Cleopatra. I am now, but you know what? I think I'm going to try something. It's like, how do we know? Mm-hmm. I will never, ever say to somebody, you can't be 2 or 3 people in the same time stream. Well, yes, you can. And people are always saying, yeah, well, maybe there's 10 overlapping universes. Let me think that one through. You know who believed in that was Stephen Hawking. Yes. He believed that there are parallel lives overlapping with us continually. Where I had cancer when I was 39, maybe I died. I went off the cliff, maybe I died.
Right.
And I had a terrible accident when I was 18. And the police said to me, how did you know where to turn your wheel? I could have died in another lifetime. I made that cat with 9 lifetimes. Oh, honey, I'm right there at 9. went over a cliff in my car too, almost. Overlapping lifetimes, absolutely. And I do feel that we capture and hold on to the interest in those lives, and they show up in our preferences. How many of you, and I like Mexican food. Oh, hello. Do I like Japanese food? Not necessarily. And yet I have such a pull. I don't necessarily feel a memory from Mexico. I can't eat spicy foods like I used to, but there's some kind of like, oh, Larry, what do you want to go out to dinner? I go, Mexican food? He says, that's okay. He likes it too. And those preferences are coming from overlapping or back to back lives. Preference to where to live and what are you most attracted to. Kind of address that as with that Yuba City. I might have been my mother's best friend because I drew her at one point, but there was some kind of connection with me and Yuba City. It doesn't even make sense to me. If I want peace, I sometimes have to go shopping in that area, and it makes no sense to me because it's not a high attract area. It's not a place that people would pick, oh, I want to go shopping. Let's go to Yuba City. They would go to the Galleria on Highway 65 in North Roseville. That is, let's really have fun. Let's go to the Galleria. Everybody want to look it up. It's fabulous. 3-story shopping mall. Like, let's really have food. And we just addressed the idea of foods from around the world. The grandchildren are in Greece and all that, and I'd love to can't wait to have them come back and say, okay, what food did you really enjoy the most, and tell me about it. And that is, I think, past life interest and past life lived in which you had comfortable food. And there's something to be said about the family get together around a table. In America, we've kind of lost that. I talked to so many people. We don't hold on to my generation when I was a young person with my first husband. The family did get together. But I have yet to find Hispanic people, Italian people, Japanese cultures, East Asia, where multiple families live together, multiple families have meals together. They all celebrate the holidays, including the Mexican peoples. They're very family, meal preparation, lot of love, comfort right there with the meal. And I think that's where our preference for what food we eat comes from, and without even realizing why you like it. I just love all these ideas. I want to look real quick. 722. I did briefly talk about the sisters and moms. So I want to do. I did not write down, but I did want to talk about you personally, not you, Sharp, but those who are listening. The dynamics of a family and being together. I addressed this in another video 9 months back, and it's the feeling of this one woman came to me. She says, I can't figure out my reason I'm here. I don't necessarily like all my family. It's just like, So I had put my mind to her, and then I had to go through every member to figure out what was going on. And her younger brother asked her before she was born, by the way, this last life that I lived was terrible. I did a very bad job of living. Would you mind being born first? And then I'm going to mess up and see if I can fix myself. So she was born to be a witness of someone else's efforts, which is an important, as in, can she influence this young man on any level, with any word, to help him on his path? Or is she only to witness and they will discuss it after they both pass over again? According to her, when I brought this up, she got panned her forehead. Oh my God. Well, this young man has been in trouble again. And I'm talking the law like he had last time. And she says he's trying so hard. I says, you just witnessed this life and that's your job. And she says, it's really hard. And I says, you ask why you picked this body. And this body could get married and have children. But the primary reason is that the love you have for this person was so outstanding in the last lifetime. And what was the dynamics? It could have been a spouse. It could have been a child. It could have been their parents. It could have been someone that really trusts you to witness their development as a human being again. That is your job. And she was very satisfied. The other thing is that the people you have the best connection in your family with could have been a love relationship you continue, or it could be that the one you had the most trouble with is the one you have to work it out because you didn't fix it last time. It could go
Hmm.
either way. But only you in here, only your soul will tell you which way it is with somebody. It could be that that person who's messing up is being witnessed by somebody else and it's not you. If you feel like you can't be near that person, you're being propelled away, trust it, even if it's your brother or sister or parent, because you're not supposed to interfere with the choices they're making in this lifetime. It's up to them. If you're the one witnessing, you have to judge your input. They will trust you if it's meant to be. It's pretty hard to kind of discern that. That was how I wanted to end this, because sometimes we feel like we're just thrown into this pot. We're just here struggling in the middle of an ocean in a little tiny lifeboat, and we're not. I don't believe in coincidences or synchronicities situations without the outcome that's meant to be. Am I implying there's no free will? I'm really questioning that. I love the idea and hate it. It gives me comfort to know that I'm right where I'm supposed to be because I have been saved from death so many times. Maybe we should do a show on saying what happened in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It would be astounding. I should just type
Yes.
it up and then read it. It's like, well, Nancy, God doesn't want you, honey. And I go, yeah, I've been told that. I'm not done. And it's kind of a strange feeling because I pledged myself to the universe. I work for him the rest of my life. He, she, the diva, whoever's in charge. And
Right.
at this age, I think about retiring and I go, if I retire, then am I done? I have too much writing to do. But anyway, I hope you all got something out of this. It's been really fun. I got 3 minutes for the hour's up. Shar, a plug. I've been moving Shar, these shows I do with Shar, to my channel, Nancy Matt's Psychic. Please go back and review the ones I've done. If you'd like me to do another one over again, Shar gets a credit. Subscribe to my channel because I'm going to bring more over. I'm at other shows, and shortly, if I get enough subscribers, I will start doing a series on Tuesday or Wednesday nights of all the readings, and there'll be love, relationship, um, comfort from death and dying, spirit readings, things that you want me to talk about. And when you watch these from us, the bigger the number. And Shar says the RSS feed is amazing, 200 or 300 at a time, which is amazing.
Hmm.
So it's kind of fun to know that kind of a thing. But I want to know that if I go to the trouble, people are going to want to listen. I have
Sure.
8 books lined up. And so this is the rest of my life, everybody, and readings. Um,
Absolutely.
I've I've enjoyed you, and Shar and I. We're just clicking ahead and getting ready to do the Patreon talks if you're interested.
Yes.
So you have to have at least, I think, 10 to make it worth our while. All
Yeah.
right,
I mean,
Shar, take over. Huh?
okay. Yes, I
All
was
right.
just going to mention something like that. Yeah, over at Patreon, I've got 2 subscribers right now. Thank you, Pamela.
Mm-hmm.
But to make it worth our while, there has to be at least 10. There's a lot of work goes into
Yeah.
editing, editing those pre-recorded videos to even get them over there.
Right.
And which is that's just
Hours,
another
hours,
yeah,
everybody.
hours of work on that stuff. And I want to bring it to you. I'm real excited about it. I'm real excited about these extra interviews. I've got people that want to do this. Nancy wants to do the extra interviews. I've got people that were on this last week that want to sit down with you guys and do the one-on-ones and things like
Yeah.
that. So, but the Patreon is there for the same reason I have that little ticker tape running. I'm just trying to pay my bills because it
Mm.
costs to do this stuff, and you know, I don't think 550 is a lot. Especially for what we're offering. And oh yes, I'm designing a sticker, so anyone that signs up on the Patreon will get a sticker. I'm working on the sticker design right now, and I'm trying to do like a big head thing with me on the mic, and then my head's big, and then my little body's down there. So I'm working on something along that line. But the more people that sign up, like Nancy says, 10 is a good number to really get rolling with this. And I appreciate it if you did go over there. And I know it's extra from what you're watching over here, but remember, you get the two, like these 2 videos that I'm going to be doing this weekend. You get to see them before anybody else does, and you can watch them anytime you want. Well, you can watch them. I know you're thinking, oh, I can watch them over there, over on YouTube anytime I want to. But just think, In fact, on the last video that was over there, I had two versions of it. There was a version of it for this show, and there was a version of it for over there. So it's kind of like when you get the director's cut of movies. Okay, that's what you're getting over there is the director's cut of this. So I mean, I think it's a good deal, and we might talk about other fun stuff. Carrie, my friend, gave me the idea of putting the bloopers over there, and I'm thinking about doing a seriously considering a blooper reel to put over on the Patreon.
Fun,
And that's just
fun.
what you're going to be able to access is the blooper reel, foul language and all. But
No, you don't have bad language. No, no,
yeah,
no.
so go over there and check it out. I mean, the first video is still up. I think I aired it already, but you can get an idea for what the Patreon looks like and stuff. And like I said, I get enough people over there. I'm going to be offering prizes. Every month I'm going to do a drawing, and you guys will get gifts. 2 or 3 of you will get something, some kind of gift.
Yeah.
Cool gift. I'm talking like the sticker, or maybe a coffee cup or something like that. But you'll get a cool gift. It's just a build up to try and build that Patreon up, just like we're building our subscribers up over on YouTube, and we're building subscribers over on Facebook. It's all a matter of build up. So I think we're offering pretty good stuff. So yeah, and I think Nancy's going to be the first victim to come over to Patreon. You never know,
Not victim. I love this. Are you kidding?
I love this stuff.
We do have a good time.
Yeah, I love being on the air, talking to you guys. The Balenciaga thing, for people that got offended by that, I apologize. It was not. It was an excellent show. He gave a lot of excellent information.
A lot of information.
Even I was dumbfounded at the end. I was speechless. It takes a lot to make me speechless. But yeah, it was great information and stuff. And wow, who knew, right? Who knew all those people might be involved? And and I'm not saying that any of those people were involved, because we don't know that. Could be something where, just like with us, we're into the paranormal, and there's people that are into the paranormal that are also into witchcraft, and there's people that are just fascinated by the witchcraft and just wear the ankh. You know what I mean? So
you have to appreciate nowadays, if you take a picture of somebody, you can superimpose a celebrity head over it.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. You want to call somebody a pedophile, you want to make sure that they don't come back and.
Yeah.
There's some big time lawsuits.
He's a really good researcher, but I made sure and put a disclaimer on that thing when I posted it over on YouTube. Because I don't want to get nailed for spreading stuff I'm not supposed to. There's some powerful people. But anyway, I want to thank you guys.
Facebook jail.
Yeah, Monday, let me do a quick check here, because Monday I have a conflicting doctor's appointment with the show schedule Monday. So I went ahead and emailed the gentleman that's supposed to be on the show, but he hasn't gotten back to me. I'm thinking, because it was an early show, that the guy's over in England or Australia. So I'm going to have to wait on that. So I don't know what's going to happen Monday. Either he's going to be on, or we'll just do a read on that new book on Monday. I don't know yet. What's going to happen yet with Monday. But Sunday, of course, I'll be here at 6:30 p.m. to read the book. What'd Jerry say? Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. So I'll be here to read the book on Sunday, as usual, at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And then Monday, I might be reading the book, or this guy will be on. I don't know. If the guy comes on, I'm trying to push him up 2 hours, because he was scheduled for noon, and my appointment turns out to be 11, so it's going to be too tight. So I'm trying to push him to 2 p.m. to see if I can do that. So if not, maybe he'll reschedule another day, and then I'll just read the book. But that's what the book's for, when things like that happen. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things. But anyway, be on the lookout soon. I'm going to have this sticker designed, and I kind of have this vision in my head for what I want. It doesn't mean I'm going to get what I want or do it the way I want, but I'm going to try. So we'll see what happens with that. And if you haven't done so already, go over to YouTube, check out my shorts. No, not my shorts, but my video shorts.
They knew what you was. You loved that, didn't you?
I do. Since a lot of you guys aren't on TikTok to see these things, I also post them on YouTube, and sometimes I post them on Facebook, depending on the shorts. I do have a funny story about the shorts, though. The vampire short that everybody saw, and it's gone really well. It's gone really well, and
oh, the vampire! Oh my gosh!
TikTok has a rule about doing things at outside your house, because people can put trackers on stuff, so they have a thing about that. Like some of my friends that will take you for a ride in their car, and they'll go get dinner or whatever. TikTok will send warning signs that going, don't do that, because people can find you. So I decided to shoot this thing at the park. And so I go to the park, and I've got my little tripod thing on the hood of my car, and I'm standing there doing all this crap trying to do the video. And these two younger people came over to eat, decided to have their lunch there. It was a nice day. It was like 65, 66 outside. And there's like 20, 30 picnic benches out there. But they had to choose the one that was closer to me, and of course they're facing me the whole time. So I could hear them laughing as I'm doing this. And it took like 20 takes to get it the way I wanted to. But it was humiliating. Because I'm not used to having an audience when I do this stuff. Usually it's right here I do it. So it was kind of funny, because every time I would do something, I could hear them snickering.
Oh,
But that's life. I guess it's life as a TikTok creator. The ones at Disneyland, I got to give them credit because they're always doing stuff, so they must get a lot of stickers. But that was a deliberate thing. They came over, sat down, where they had a full view of me, and they're eating their lunch, and I can hear them laughing. So I'm never. First time I'll ever do that. Maybe the last time. I don't know. It depends if I shoot outside again. But yeah, so that was an experience for the first time to do something like that outside a public place, to shoot those. But anyhow, and Karen Clark and I will start probably maybe next week. We're going to start doing some TikTok stuff, and we're going to be
Karen,
going
you
out live.
good.
And so we're going to start that project. So just keep an eye out for that stuff for you guys that are over on TikTok. I know some of you are on TikTok, some of you aren't. So we're gonna start doing that. So that's the big update. And like I said, Monday I won't know anything until tonight, probably from this gentleman once he gets up out of bed, because right now it's almost 6 a.m. and oh no, what time is it? It's only
9 hours.
Yeah, it's only like
4
4
in the morning.
Yeah, something like that. So I won't know anything for a couple hours. But yeah, so I have to move some stuff around. However, we have a full week of shows, so that's gonna be fun next week. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go and have a great tomorrow, and I will see you Sunday at 6:30 p.m. And Nancy, we'll see you next Friday. Well, maybe sooner. We'll decide when we're gonna do our thing on Patreon. I mean, maybe sooner.
Sure.
I don't know yet. But
Just let me know.
we will touch base with you guys. So here we go. Here's Nancy's info.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Yes, that was great. Okay, here we go. Boom. There we are. And hello. Okay. Websites, nancymatz.com, all lowercase. nancymatzauthor.com. The N, M, and A are capitalized. youtube.com/nancymatzpsychic. The N, M, and P are capitalized. Help get me out of this funk, Nancy Matz. Two Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills. Nancy Matz. And The Unwilling Sacrifice, Nancy Matz. And of course, we can get those from Amazon. And again, just a quick reminder: if you are watching from Facebook tonight and you like what you see, please hit me a smiley or something, and those thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up already to follow, please do that. Please follow. Same thing with YouTube. If you haven't signed up to subscribe, please subscribe. There's over 571 videos sitting over there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little something. Like I said, this week was a perfect example of how I like to mix it up with different topics and stuff, and to keep everybody interested. So please do subscribe. We're trying to build up those subscribers as well. And I think I'm done. Am I done? Yeah.
You did good.
If you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. We're getting the word out. Okay, if you hate the show, just give it to somebody you hate so that they can get stuck with it. But yeah, we're really cool opportunity. All right, so I want to thank you, and I'm going to do this because we're mid-month, and first of the month is going to come up before I know it. That ticker running along the bottom means that California Haunts Radio is kind of like a nonprofit, as is California Haunts Paranormal Team. And everything comes out of my pocket. This is all I do. I'm retired. This is my job. This is what I do. And there's expenses with it. You know it. You have internet at home. You have your expenses at home with internet. I have my expenses with internet. I have my expenses with StreamYard. I have my expenses with the RSS system and all that. And I do need help with that to keep the show on the air. If you could help me out a little bit, that would be great. That would be paypal.me/California Haunts. or you can do that at California Haunted Venmo. But I would really appreciate a little help to try and get everything paid for. I'm done with this month. See, when you're self-employed, you're always working a month ahead. So I'm working for May right now. So if you guys could help me
Yep.
out, that would be great. I would appreciate it. I'm looking at teaching one or two classes. Let me know what you guys would be interested in me teaching, so I can make some extra money and teach you guys whatever you want to learn. Maybe something on protection, because I know I teach a basic protection class, but I can get more into it to teach you guys more skills about how to protect yourselves. So just let me know what you're interested in. All right, I'll shut up now, and hopefully I'll know by Sunday pretty much who our guest is going to be on Monday. But have a great couple days, you guys, and I will see you. Where's the
Good night,
button?
everybody.